What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to Bruce and Stephanie Comics. My name is Bruce, it's Tuesday, and it is time for more comic book speculation recommendations. The video where I look off into the future at final order cutoff in New Comic Book Day of next week. That's right, guys, we look off into the future so that way you guys have enough time to put in your pre-orders for your FOC books and to also reach out to your local LCS and tell them, hey, I was watching Bruce and Stephanie's comic book speculation recommendations. I like what he had to say. I did my own research and I would like a couple extra copies of these books so that way I can start to make this hobby fund itself. Alright guys, I want to hit you with my 2 reminders that I remind you guys about each and every single week, and the first one is to always do your own research. Why is that? Well, I'm going to suggest some books to you guys today on FOC, on New Comic Book Day, that I think has some pretty good spec behind it. But it's probably hot garbage. Or what if it is? And then you guys go buy these books, then you waste a lot of money, and then you come looking at me, Bruce, you're like, I spent money on these books, they didn't turn into anything. Well, to prevent that, you guys should do your own research. You guys should go check other comic book YouTubers you trust, other comic book websites that you trust, and other comic book apps that you trust. Gather the most information possible so that way you guys can make the best decisions possible for yourself, because remember, you guys are spending your own hard-earned money on these books, so you guys want to feel confident in the choices that you guys make. So please do your own research. And the second reminder is that sometimes the books that I talk about in today's videos will shift to a different date because of printing delays and other things that are unforeseen. So I will speak about a book today on FOC that might show up on FOC once again. Same with New Comic Book Day. Maybe it was supposed to come out next week on New Comic Book Day, but it gets pushed back a week or 2. So just a reminder, sometimes the dates do shift by a week, 2 or 3, sometimes even more. Alright guys, let's dive right into my FOC picks, but before we do that, the dates for these books are September 19th for your DC books and September 20th for your Marvel and Indies. Alright guys, kicking off my FOC list like always, we're gonna start with the hottest cover on FOC, guys, and we have Wonder Girl number 4, the Jamal Campbell cover. This is the cover B, it's $4.99. Guys, this cover is absolutely gorgeous. This was actually on a previous video on FOC. It got pushed back a week or 2, and it's back in the spotlight. Guys, this Jamal Campbell cover is just absolutely gorgeous. And guys, Wonder Girl number 5 is also on this list, but it's on the list for spec reasons. But guys, there is a Jenny Frison B cover for that issue. They just don't have the image for it yet. Otherwise, that might have been on the list as well for a cover lover's choice. But guys, my cover lover choice again is Wonder Girl number 4, the B cover, the Jamal Campbell. With the cover out of the way, let's talk about the one book. That's right, the one book that is on my FOC spec list for spec reasons. So I went through FOC 3 times, 6 times? 3 times! Fully checking each and every single book, seeing if there was any spec behind it, and kind of figuring out what I wanted to share with you guys. And this was the only book that I felt comfortable enough sharing with you because I do think this character is going to be important in the future, and that is Wonder Girl number 5. I mentioned you in the cover video that this book was my spec pick, and it is because this is the first team appearance of, not even gonna pronounce it, I'll put it on screen right here, Wonder Girl's Lost Amazonian Tribe. And this is also possibly the first cameo appearance of Portia. So we have 2 possible appearances, but I do think Yara Flor is going to be important in either the movies or TV in the future for DC Comics. I really do. I think this character is really, really cool. I think you guys should specking on it. I do think this is more of a long-term play. I don't think this is going to pay off in, 2-3 months. I think this is going to be paying off for you in years. Like, I don't know how many years, like 5-10 years, once this character does blow up a little bit more and it becomes interesting enough to put on TV or movies. But I think as she's being written right now, it's an important character. Do buy in my opinion. Guys, let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys agree with me, or am I absolutely crazy? With only 2 books on FOC, let's jump right into my New Comic Book Day spec, because that is a little bit bigger. Guys, we're talking about New Comic Book Day picks for September 22nd of 2021. Alright guys, let's kick off my New Comic Book Day spec list, just like my FOC spec list, with my cover lovers pick of the week. And this week it goes to Catwoman number 35, the B Jenny Frison cover. I think this cover is fantastic. Look how amazing Selena Kyle looks on the cover. She looks badass and also sexy as shit all in one shot. Jenny Frison, you killed this cover, and I do think this cover is going to be worth more in the future, maybe a year or two, just because of this cover. I think this is a fantastic cover, and I am going to be picking up an extra copy of this for my collection in for spec, because I do think this cover could be worth double, triple, maybe even quadruple the cover price just because of this cover. Alright guys, before we jump into my main spec for New Comic Book Day, I do have one honorable mention, and that is Suicide Squad King Shark #1. This is a 6-issue limited series and does have a ton of first appearances. I spoke about this book on FOC. It's back for New Comic Book Day. Guys, just listen to this list of first appearances. We have the first appearance of Queen Tiger, King Roach, Prince Nematode, Princess Premagine, and Man King. This is also the reintroduction to King Shark's father, which is really cool. So, one of the main reasons why I'm suggesting this book to you guys, because there is a little bit of buzz following the James Gunn Suicide Squad film and how popular King Shark was in that movie. And I do think if we see more of him in either the Peacemaker TV show or a future James Gunn Suicide Squad sequel, this book could pick up some buzz, or maybe there is some of these first appearances that are in this book show up in Aquaman 2, or maybe Aquaman 3, or maybe some other thing down the line, because they like this character King Shark and they want to use more of him, so why not use characters around him? So that's why this is my honorable mention, because it is a little bit of a stretch. As you see, I just had to explain all those things to get you guys to, you know, maybe interested in this book. I'm only going to be picking up one copy of this book, so I'm not going crazy specking on this, but I'm going to pick up one copy, that cover A, just because, you know, I'm talking about this book now. I want to show you guys that I do follow up on the spec that I talk about in each one of these videos. So, Suicide Squad King Shark #1, because of the first appearances, and I do think the popularity from that character is going to roll over a little bit. So, guys, keep an eye out. Suicide Squad King Shark #1. This is a DC crazy heavy week. Every single book on this list is almost all DC except for one, and that is Moon Knight #3. So this is the first full appearance of Hunter's Moon. His cameo was in issue 1. His first full appearance is in issue 3. This character could be huge, because maybe we are going to see him in Moon Knight Season 1 or Moon Knight Season 2 if Moon Knight Season 1 is popular enough on Disney+. And I think it could. Oscar Isaac is such an amazing actor, and I do think he's going to bring a lot to this series, but it all comes down to the writing for that show. But guys, Hunter's Moon, his first appearance is coming up in next week's Moon Knight #3. I would definitely picking up a copy of that, because I do think this character is cool enough that we could see him in a season of, Moon Knight. Alright, now that that Marvel book is out of the way and we had no indie books on the list at all, let's finish this video off with 2 DC books, shall we? And the first book is Batman Secret Files Miracle Molly #1. So, this is the what of Miracle Molly? It's not the cameo appearance, it's not the first appearance. So if you don't have those, what's the next thing you go after? The origin story, and this is the origin story for Miracle Molly. I'm a big believer in everything James Tynion is doing right now. I think he's also a master at creating characters with longevity, and I do think a lot of the characters that he has created for the Batman line are going to stick around, and I do think that Miracle Molly is going to be one of those characters, so that's why I'm getting behind this character. I think you guys might want to consider it. Make your own decision. I could be completely wrong. I could be spending a lot of money on books that are in that closet right over there that are not going to go anywhere, but I do think Miracle Molly has legs, and I do think she's a really cool character, so that's why I'm gonna spec behind this book. But guys, am I crazy for doing that? Let me know down in the comments. And the last book on my New Comic Book Day spec list is Batman #113. That's right, another Batman book, another DC book, and this is the first full appearance of Peacekeeper X, another character from James Tynion IV. This character is more of a villain, so you want to hedge your bets a little bit, because villains never do as well as heroes. And Miracle Molly is one of those characters that is both a hero and a villain. So that's why I'm speccing a little harder on her and not so much on Peacekeeper X. But Peacekeeper X sounds like a really cool character. He's gonna be a badass peacekeeper that's gonna push Batman and his team to their limits, so I'm super excited for this character. So Batman #113 is the first full appearance of Peacekeeper X, and that is the last book on my New Comic Book Day spec list. all DC except for one book. That's insane. It's never happened before. I'm probably the only channel on YouTube that talking about comic book speculation that is suggesting DC books to you guys. Now I know I'm crazy for that. I know DC spec is not as strong as Marvel and indie spec right now. But guys, I believe DC is gonna have a turnaround in the future at some point for their TV shows and their movies. I really do. If you watch Suicide Squad, the James Gunn, the latest movie, it was so good. It was excellent. It was an excellent film. And I do think what's coming up in the line also looks really good. I'm really excited for a lot of things that Warner Brothers is doing. So I'm getting behind these characters. And also James Tynion created so many of these things. So they're important to me. I'm suggesting it to you guys. You guys tell me if I'm crazy or not. So that's the end of today's video. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications, smash that like button, and I promise you there will be other indies and Marvel books on this. That's what this list normally consists of, is mostly Marvel and indie, and this is just a really heavy DC week for me. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one.